Good morning, family. Welcome to another quick The Forum Blast with your boy Big L. I just wanted to holler at you for a few minutes, man. Right now, within Black America, within this country, Black people have been declared war upon. Right now, within this country, Black America has been declared war upon. We have seen tons of casualties of this war laying out on the streets. Whether it be Black man, Black woman, Black child, we have been declared war upon. And it's not just simply physical casualties we've seen from the educational system, the criminal justice system, the job market. All of those different things, man, are being used by white supremacy to wipe us out. With the Mike Brown situation in Ferguson, Missouri, it's taken on steam in ways that some of the other murders of Blacks didn't have. You saw revolt and rebellion out of the people from Ferguson, Missouri. You've seen it get tons of media coverage and media attention. You've seen tons of people on social media, whatever the platform it is, sharing their outrage over the situation, over this senseless, unnecessary murder. But one thing I've noticed is whenever this conversation takes place, where we begin to have conversations about what's taking place with Blacks from white supremacy, when we point to other races or other people committing these acts upon us, you always got these folk who come through and say, what about Black on Black crime? What about what we're doing in our own quote unquote community? Why are we so focused on what's taking place somewhere else by what white people are doing to us? And that's generalized right there, white people. Why are we concerned about what they're doing? And how come we're not focused on what Black people are doing to each other? Every single time, man, without fail, you got somebody coming through yelling Black on Black crime. 9 times out of 10, it's somebody who's Black who's yelling it. 9 times out of 10. Is there such thing as Black on Black crime? No. Black on Black crime is a myth. It's a fallacy. It's something that was originally generated and by the media, but it's perpetuated by Blacks. Are there Black people committing crimes against other Black people? Yes. Are those of us who are concerned and frustrated, angry, mad, in a semi-violent rage because we see white cops continuously abusing, misusing, and killing us? Are we ignorant to what's taking place in our own neighborhoods? No. Do we have the same level of outrage from when we see a white cop murdering a teen as we do when a another teen is murdering another black teen? Is there the same level of outrage? I can't say it is for everybody. I can't say it is for everybody. But that doesn't mean that people who don't speak out against crimes that blacks are committing against other people are insensitive, don't care, not paying attention, not worried. It doesn't mean that at all. It does not mean that at all. But when people spit out that black on black crime rhetoric, they're only spitting it out in response to when somebody is speaking about what white supremacy is doing. They're not speaking out against black on black crime when everything has been quiet and chill on the war front. They're only speaking out about that in a way, in a manner of which counters what somebody is saying about what white supremacy is doing. You haven't heard none of these folk, man, speaking about black on black crime before Mike Brown was killed. You didn't hear the same level of outrage towards those who are speaking up against what white supremacy is doing. I'm just as upset, pissed off, and angry as a black person killing somebody who's black or that type of manner as a white person killing a black. That outrage is the same. But the question that you, Mr. I'm going to throw black on black crime into this argument, have to ask yourself is, why are you focused on black crime now? Why weren't you speaking about black on black crime before? Why weren't you addressing it with the same level of hostility, anger, and frustration before somebody began to speak about Mike Brown? Why introduce it into the conversation now? Why is it relevant right now? Is it your way of actually deflecting from what is really taking place in society? Is it your way of absolving yourself from having to get into a conversation that may be a little uncomfortable for you? No one is sitting back ignoring what's taking place in the black community. That's absolute false. But you have to be able to critically think about these things. The reason why I say black on black crime is a fallacy and a myth is because you don't see or hear any other race labeled in that manner. You don't hear white on white crime, Asian on Asian crime, Puerto Rican on Puerto Rican, Mexican on Mexican crime. You don't see that. You don't hear that. When people throw out that black on black crime rhetoric, you have to ask yourself, okay, what are the reasons why blacks are committing these crimes against each other? Because the reason why the statistics for quote unquote black on black crime is as high as it is, it's those numbers, how high it is very similar to quote unquote white on white crime, because it's a crime of vicinity and proximity. Most of this country is segregated, whether it be purposeful segregation or just the way the economics is set up that we are all in one particular place. But the reason why the numbers will be so high is because we're the only ones around each other. We're not mixed and intermingled with the country, so the numbers are always going to be slanted higher because you're always going to be around people who look just like you. So that's why you have these numbers that are so astronomically high, but other races' numbers are just as astronomically high, just as astronomical, just as high. But if you don't look at the cause for these crimes, why are blacks committing these crimes against each other? What are they doing? What is it? Is it crimes out of need? Is it crimes because there's a lack of something within their community that they feel like they have to go do this in order to get that. But I need you to see how that phraseology, that term, black on black crime, has been used to paint blacks as animalistic. As they paint us as animals when they use that term and begin to use those statistics as a way of backing up their automatic, ignorant, wrong ideology that blacks are, what's the word I'm looking for? Had a predilection to commit crimes against each other. That we want to do that. That they paint us in this manner that that's what we want to do. Is it a horrible, horrible thing? Absolutely it is. But at some point in time, you got to think critically. Why in the world are we doing the things that we're doing to each other? Not just throw out data and statistics and run and say we need to do more of this and do more of that. Okay, that's good and that's fine and dandy. Absolutely. We need to do something about it. What do we do? What do we do? Okay, let's throw out some solutions here. One of the reasons why we see a high level of crimes within our community is a lack of economics in our community, meaning there's a lack of jobs, a lack of well-paying jobs. So you have people in a poverty-stricken area who are unable to get the needs met that they have for their families. So their only option is crime. We get money and get our resources and wealth one of three ways, man. One of three ways is the way that we get. We either work for it, the government pays us, or crime. Only three ways. There's only three ways that you earn income, that you get money somehow. Only three ways. Three. You work for it. You get a check from the government, or crime. If there's no jobs in our neighborhoods, that removes the jobs. Now you only have these two left. Okay? You have two left. The amount of money that the government is giving, the subsidy, and how difficult it's making it for some people to get, removes the second one out of the equation. Then you're left with one. Crime. Remember, three ways. Work, government, crime. Now, this doesn't just go for black folks. Oh, no, not at all. This is across the board for anyone in this country. You're getting income one of three ways. Somebody's worked for it, the government, or crime. So, if there's no jobs in the community, no jobs, it only leaves government and crime. So one of the solutions is building businesses within the community to take care of that situation. The other issue would be we need to have, or another solution I heard people throw out would be, we need to have more law enforcement presence. Yeah, I said it. This is what I've heard. We need to have more law enforcement presence. And I always look side-eyed at the people when they say that. So you need to tell me we need more cops in the hood? We need more cops in these neighborhoods? Let's think critically. Let's think logically here. One of the reasons why our community, our neighborhood rather, is in the state that it is because of law enforcement. Because the laws have been set up for more black males and black people in general to end up in the prison industrial complex. So they take away jobs from the community, section us off and put us in these segregated environments, self-segregated, absolutely. Don't allow us to have jobs. Crime goes up. You put more law enforcement in. You lock more of us up, put us in the prison industrial complex. Then you see the failing of the demise of the black family structure, which then now you have a bunch of single moms trying to do the best they can to raise these young black males specifically. And oftentimes it fails. There are some great success stories, but oftentimes it fails. So if that young black male who is doing poorly in schools, because most schools within inner city urban areas are not doing well because money finances many of the things they need for the school. So when the school fails, you send them off, you send the kid off to school. The school is not treating them right. They're struggling in school, so their only recourse is either to try to find a job to help out their family or crime. Since they have a lack of education, job is out of the equation. Crime is the only option. If you're a young black female, same scenario. Same scenario, but oftentimes what happens is you're home with a single parent. You go out in the world. You go to school. School's not educating you and giving you the tools that you need. You try to find a job. Somehow or another, you possibly can get linked up with some no good Negro, get into a relationship, fall quote unquote in love. Now there's a child involved. See, now there's a child involved, so finding a job to help you out of your financial situation with your child is difficult. So you try to rely on the Negro that you got pregnant by, and he doesn't have an education to be able to go and get a decent job. So crime is only good for him. So what happens to him, he gets arrested for the crime he commits. He goes to prison. Now we have the same scenario again where we have another single parent home with another single parent home, raising possibly another black male, and the cycle just continues. The cycle just continues. So one of the ways for black people to combat what they see taking place in these neighborhoods is to place businesses and jobs in these communities. Now, I understand one of the arguments that is thrown out there is, if there's crime there, why would I want to put jobs there? If you give black people a job, black people will protect that thing that they're getting money from. Okay? If you're giving them a sense of pride, a sense of purpose, a sense of dignity, a sense of this is how things work, they'll protect that business for you. But the way the propaganda has worked throughout the media and throughout society, whether it be school or whatever, we have this negative, whitewashed image of black people. We have this negative image of them that we run to a negative space, oftentimes determining or describing what they're going to do in a situation where, instead of thinking positive, like, okay, if we put a business here, we'll be able to help them out, or we run to a place where they're all criminals and thugs there, so we can't do that. We've lost a belief, a positive belief in us. We've lost a desire, a want, a will to want to see us prosperous and to see us come out of the situation. I hate hearing that term, black on black crime, because I really don't think that people, when they use it, think about how it paints black people. It paints us in such a negative light. It paints us in such an awful manner. It just grieves me when I hear people saying that, man. But they only say it, man, and to counter someone saying something about what white supremacy is doing to blacks. We got to change the way that we think. change the way we respond to situations, man. We've been so conditioned to think in a white manner that we don't even realize it. We have to do better with that. We have to do better. Black people who are committing crimes on other blacks are not savages. They're not horrible monsters. They're not beasts. They're not. Many of them are products of bad situations, using bad things with the intent of turning it to good. You can't convince me otherwise. You can't convince me that these black folks who are committing these crimes against other black people are just evil. I ain't buying it. Are their acts and their behavior evil? Absolutely. But if you're going to spit that rhetoric about black on black crime, what is the reason that blacks are committing those crimes against other blacks? Begin to ask yourself that question. Before you throw the rhetoric out, before you throw that out there, what are the reasons why blacks are committing crimes against other blacks? Go to the foundation. Go to the bottom of it. Why are blacks committing crimes against other blacks in black neighborhoods? Ask yourself that. Before you throw that out there, deal with the foundation, the reason why. No one anywhere, particularly here, is trying to absolve anybody who is committing crimes against somebody else. I'm not looking to that. I'm not justifying it. I'm not absolving it. I'm not trying to take it away. I'm not trying to take the faults or blame away from the people who are committing crimes and blaming it somewhere else. I'm simply saying, begin to look at the foundation, the reason why. And then you'll see that all the responsibility is not fully on the people who commit the crime. Now, do I believe that they should pay for the crime that they commit? Absolutely. No one's saying that they shouldn't. I'm saying in order for us to begin to prevent and stop it, we got to think critically about why they're doing it. What's the reason? Why are they doing it? And black men, we have to get out there and begin to take our streets back. Purposefully take our streets back, man. This topic right here gets me heated. Gets me heated. Because I understand, man. I understand. I understand what you're saying when you're saying that we need to be looking out for our own neighborhoods. I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. But the manner in which we bring this topic up is cause for concern, and our lack of critical thinking about what the root of these issues are is a concern, and our lack of putting work in to resolve and prevent these things from happening is a cause for concern. It's your boy Big L, man, with another Forum Blast. I love you. Catch me every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. on C Voice Radio, The Forum, with your boy Big L. I'm out.